When you walk into a room and you look like you're still in high school, people immediately doubt that you know what you're doing. So you learn how to prepare. And then I was also shy. I was an introvert. So you look young and you don't say much. So people automatically assume that, oh, this person is not knowledgeable, they don't have enough experience, they can't help me. That was probably one of the first things I had to overcome. I had to learn how to walk in the room and be loud without being loud, if that makes any sense. To be knowledgeable, to let people know I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, I can help you.
If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiration and tips to become a more resilient and confident leader of others or even just your own life. Hey everybody, I'm back with another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I'm talking to my longtime friend, Jae Henderson. Jae and I go all the way back to the University of Memphis. And I don't remember exactly when we met, but we both met because we are both Greek. I'm an AKA, she is a proud Zeta. And we met, so probably around 98, 99, somewhere in there. And we have stayed connected all these years since, and has also been really amazing to watch her professional and personal journey. And I'm super excited to be talking to Jae today and sharing her story. So Jae is the president of Put It in Writing PR. Put It in Writing PR. She is an author, and I was gonna say all your books, but I don't want to make that claim. That might not be true. But
You've read quite a few. Maybe not all of them, but you've read quite a few.
She is an excellent author and really good at what she does. So, Jae, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first, thank you for having me, Summer. I appreciate that. As you said, we go way back, and I've enjoyed watching your journey as you've evolved and created So What, and showing other people how to say so what. So, congratulations to you.
Thank
Now,
you.
about myself, I am a native Memphian, born and raised. I graduated from Treadwell High School. And as you stated, I went to the University of Memphis, where I graduated with a bachelor's in communication, emphasis on broadcast journalism. And I went back and got a master's in English professional and technical writing. Initially, I wanted to be a news anchor. I was going to be the next Claudia Barr. But then I did an internship at a radio station. It was Clear Channel back then. Now it's iHeart, and I fell head over heels with radio. I never made it to TV, which is just fine. I think radio is exactly where I was supposed to be. In my early journey in my career, I was a talk show host and a producer for the only talk show in Memphis in the Mid South for young people called On Point. And every Sunday, we talked to young adults and teenagers about what they were going through, and were able to speak with experts on the matter, as well as get the opinion of young people in studio and on the phone. Because I mean, by that time I was, what, 20. I hadn't been in high school in several years, and I did not know all the stuff they were going through. And I had a group of young people called the Teen Panel, and they were more than happy to give me that information. Now, I don't know how far you want me to go back.
That was good. Though. I was like, I remember that, and just my mind, and we can go back to that another day, another time. Like, dang,
Okay.
we still need that. We need that again. But so that's good. Anything else you want to share about
Well,
your?
that's how I started my career off. And after I got my master's, I segued into marketing and PR. I was working for a local company, and I did that for several years. And then the market crashed, 2005, when the market tanked, and everybody, first thing companies cut out in their budget. One of the things they do is the PR budget, the marketing budget. And so I was let go. Well, actually, they tried to let me go initially. I started crying. People
Like
say
that.
tears don't fix nothing. Not true. The owner was like, "Hold on, okay, we'll find something for you to do. We'll figure it out." And so they kept me for a few more months, and then I went part time. They gave me time to adjust, and then I went part time, and then that is when I launched Put It in Writing PR full time. I was already doing it on the side. People would The full name is actually Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service and PR. I started out with the professional writing service. I would do people's documents, bios, resumes, content for the marketing materials. If you were doing a business proposal, I might write your introduction or your conclusion. That's how the company initially got started. And then when I branched out on my own, I added the PR aspect because that is what, by that time I knew exactly what I was doing. They trained me well, and I was able to survive until one of my clients created a position for me.
I love
And
it.
so that is, yeah, it was the company was called Common Table Health Alliance. And I was there for several years. And then my mother passed. And so I took a break, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And that's probably the first major transition in my life or obstacle that I had to deal with. I can say that I've been very blessed in my career. One of the things I did while I was in college is I was an intern for the Tom Jordan Morning Show. And so I had the opportunity to travel to Dallas for a month and sit in studio and work with them. And after I came back home to Memphis, I wrote for the show. I used to write for the weekend segment called Right Back at You. And people sometimes they don't believe me when I tell them I wrote jokes. I would come up with the funny one-liners for Tom to say in between some of the songs. I worked with his head writer, Mary Flowers Boyce, who I still keep in touch with today, and amazing individual and writer.
So you've
And
had some
so,
really amazing experiences. Let's get into that. So in this program, Jae, because I definitely want to get into your whole story. I have what I call the SOAS success system. And it's my belief that anyone, if they can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, they can have SOAS success. And that is success no matter what happens in life. And Jae, I've witnessed you go through some pretty tough stuff in your life. And so I know that you are a SOAS success woman. And
thank
you have
you.
lived that SOAS success system. So first, talk about some of the obstacles that you've had to overcome and just how you've done it.
Well, the initial one in my career was because I looked really young, and I had I will call it a childlike voice. So when my name on the radio
Not
was
had,
Baby
it's not
Girl.
even past tense.
And they called me Jae Henderson, Baby Girl Jae Henderson. And so when you walk into a room and you look like you're still in high school, people immediately doubt that you know what you're doing. So you learn how to prepare. And then I was also shy. I was an introvert. So you look young and you don't say much. So people automatically assume that, oh, this person is not knowledgeable, they don't have enough experience, they can't help me. That was probably one of the first things I had to overcome. I had to learn how to walk in the room and be loud without being loud, if that makes any sense, to be knowledgeable, to let people know I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm talking about, I can help you. Even when I was first offered the talk show, one of the higher ups in the company didn't think I could do it. He told me I needed to be more ballsy. And I'm like, I don't have those. What you expect me? I don't have those, sir. But it just motivated me to be better, because I would come into the studio if we're talking about something that I'm not familiar with. I've already researched it, or I've called into an expert to talk about it, because I wanted on point to not just be one of those talk shows where we were sharing opinions all day. I wanted people to listen to the show and get facts about whatever the topic was that day. And I knew we were on to something when people were talking about, you make me late for church every Sunday or Sunday school every Sunday. We came on at like 9 a.m. because I'm not getting out of the car until we goes off. So people would tell me that I'm late every Sunday, but it's all right. My parents let me sit in the car until the show is over, and then I come in.
It's funny, Jack, because I remember the show, and I wasn't a young. I was your age or around your
Yeah.
age at the time, so I wasn't really the target audience. But I really appreciated the show, and I was like, more and more I think about it, I was like, dang, we gotta do something to get that back. But that's again another conversation.
Yeah.
But I can relate to what you're saying, because even still today, with the work that I do, And it's a blessing that we look younger than what we are, but it's
I'm
all
not gonna complain.
but it's also still that sort of the burden to be like, but I still know what I'm talking about, and this is why you need to listen to me. And so that's a skill that you adapted, right? And that has
Yeah,
I'm
most
sure gone
definitely.
a long way in your career. So Jay, I know, and it's a sensitive topic, but you've already mentioned it a little bit. I know another obstacle that you face and that I've witnessed you deal with is the loss of important people in your life, close people in your life. A lot of people watching this have experienced that as well. Talk about how you dealt with those obstacles, and how you overcome some of that.
I don't know if you truly overcome it, to be honest with you. I tell people it doesn't get easy, but it gets easier. If that makes any sense. Every day is a journey, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time. You learn to live without the people who are closest to you. My mother passed first, and I said I was work at that time. She was battling some illness, and my mother had a mental disorder, and she stopped working when I was in like the seventh grade. And by the grace of God, child support and family members, we were still taken care of. I bought my first house at 25, which was a duplex, so she could live on the other side. So I always knew that I would end up having to take care of my mother, and my mother was still a good parent. I mean, she may not have been able to hold down a job, but she held me down 100%. I mean, she got up every morning and cooked me breakfast. She made sure I did my homework. She made sure my room was clean. She kept me out of trouble. Mediocrity was not tolerated in my house. I was told you walk out this door and you give it your best every day. I don't send you to school to get C's. So I truly believe that I had great parents. But with her death, I was working full time. I came back to my boss and I said, I'm not okay. And I don't know when I'm going to be okay. And I resigned. And it may have been the best thing for my mental health, but it was the worst thing for my career. I had an amazing job, making great money. My boss, Renee Frazier, was not from here. She was from Baltimore. So her pay scale was higher than what you were finding here in Memphis at the time. We had 4-day work weeks. We didn't come in on Fridays. So she called it working from home, but asked me if we were actually working. And she was not one of those people, what do they call it? Micromanager. No, just do your job and I'm happy. Do what I ask you to do and do it well, and all will be well. So I actually moved to Nashville for about a couple of months. One of my sorority sisters lived there. She gave me the key to her house. And she was like, stay as long as you like, get yourself together. And the plan was to eventually relocate to Nashville. Well, when I felt it was time for me to find a job or looking for something part-time, it was not going well. Well, my boss called me back. She said, I am retiring and I need someone that is familiar with the organization. I don't have time to train someone just for me to turn around and leave. She hired me as her executive assistant. It was a significant pay cut, but it was a job. So that's how I ended up back in Memphis. And after I left there, that's when I launched my company full time
Okay.
and put it in writing PR as we know it today. That's where it came about. And I know I've talked about what I did prior to this, but Put It in Writing is a boutique PR agency where we specialize in helping nonprofits and small businesses shine. Some of my clients you may be familiar. Well, I know some of them you are familiar with, but your audience,
There, yes.
doing moving and storage, Southern Heritage Classic football game. I just started working with retired NBA player Kevin Whitted and his wife Danae Whitted, Dania Whitted. We call her Day. And some of my other clients are seasonal. One of the things I'm really good at is media relations, which is where you get the media to come to your events or have you on their shows, their talk shows, television shows, news segments. So people will hire me when they have an event or a function or other kind of function coming up to make sure that the public is aware of what they're doing. So that's kind of become my niche as I've started working. And so things are going well.
I love it. It's just an evolution, right? How you, the challenge, like you said, the worst thing for your career, but then here you are in your career and you're doing your thing and how your business and is growing and thriving. You have some amazing clients. I know them. Yeah, some of your clients are definitely amazing. So the second part of the SOA success system is eliminating excuses. So Jay, you've dealt with a lot of different things personally and professionally that you could have made excuses for not moving forward and not being successful, not even starting your business, just a lot of different things. Talk about some of the excuses that you knew you had to eliminate to get to where you are today.
I can't make excuses, Summer. I'm single with no kids. If I don't work, I don't eat. I tell people I am allergic to hunger and homelessness. I mean, so that laying down in a ditch and crying, woe is me, it's not a possibility. There's no one to come pull me out of that ditch and pay my mortgage. So that is one of the reasons I have to eliminate excuses. Um, I know who I am and I know whose I am. But faith without works is dead. So anything that I wanted in this life, I had to go get it. No one was going to give it to me. Now I had some amazing or have some amazing people who helped me along the way, who believe in me, who mentor me, who trust me, who throw me leads. But at the end of the day, it's all on me. Another obstacle I face is I battle with depression. And I realized that it's at its peak when the seasons change. They call it seasonal depression. I have to, I can't, I don't want to say I have to snap out of it, but I have to manage it. When I feel the sadness coming on you, it's not major, so I don't really have to take medication for it. But sometimes I do take serotonin, and that helps. I go for walks. I enjoy walks in nature. I enjoy beautiful surroundings. I love traveling. That helps as well. So when I realize that I'm getting to that point where I'm feeling lower than I should, I have to redirect myself. And then I'll be honest with you, even in my personal life, I am newly engaged. Well, the person I am with, he's high energy. He's upbeat. He wakes up in the morning with a great attitude, and that influences me and my attitude. I mean, yeah, when having somebody in your corner that's always smiling, wants to have a dance competition in the middle of the day, loves to bring you your favorite foods, it helps. It helps. You can't be around Debbie Downers and pessimistic, negative people and expect to stay up yourself. It's just not possible. Surround yourself with people who, number one, love you and want the best for you, but also have a good attitude.
That's good, Jay. And again, where I think our lives are like, oh gosh, are we the same person? Uh because I'm the same as you. I was like, I don't have time for excuses. Although we know people in our same situation do make excuses and live differently, than we do. But I was the same as you. And then I was like, I'm hungry. That same thing. I was like, I say that to this day. I was like, I like my house. I actually want to keep it. So
Exactly. Exactly.
so I
And don't get
definitely
me
feel you on
wrong,
it.
I had struggles. I remember when I first started putting in writing, it did not go well. Um, I I was barely making enough to pay the bills. And I told all my friends, if it costs money, don't invite me. The answer is no. I don't have it.
People
And
don't
that's
understand
when
how
I took my
hard.
behind back to work the first time. So when the second time, I had learned some things, gotten made some better connections, I was able to thrive. But before I got there, I was actually a substitute teacher. If there's a will, there's a way. I would accept assignments as needed with a local charter school until what I brought in with my business was enough to take care of me.
I love it. I love it. And people don't, most people don't understand how challenging entrepreneurship is, for sure, for sure. And I didn't until I became one
Mm.
and I realized, but
One of the things I changed when I became an entrepreneur is I stopped asking people for discounts as much.
Absolutely.
because I realized you have to live off that. So if I'm trying to get you to cut your prices in half, that gives you and your family less money to live off of. I'm not saying I don't ever offer for a discount. Sometimes I'll offer services, I'll do trade, but I truly realize how small businesses, how much we are dependent on our income.
Yep. And I'm with you on that. I'm completely with you on that. And it definitely made me aware of so many different things. And I operate completely different in that aspect as an entrepreneur. Something else that you said though, that I was like, oh gosh, that's me. And I noticed, and you might have seen a recent post that I made, and I'm not joking when I make these posts about it's getting cold outside and summer don't like the fall. I feel a lot of what you just expressed too when the seasons change, and it's not as maybe as serious, like you said, where I need medication, but I do have to be very deliberate about doing things that make me feel up, that make me feel like, okay, I can still function, I can still do what I need to do. And so I'm glad
Exactly.
you mentioned that, because I think other people may even have that and experience that, but don't recognize it or don't even realize what it might be, so that they can address it like you've addressed it. So I love that you mentioned that. And mental health is just important overall in
It
everything
is.
that we're doing. Okay, so you know how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses. You talked about some of the excuses that you didn't have room to make. And the third part of the SOA success system is calculating choices. So Jay, I've watched you make a lot of choices throughout your life and throughout your journey. Talk about some of the calculated choices that you've made to get to where you are today.
Now that's a good one because a lot of my choices weren't calculated, and it was just things that happened, and I had to adjust, or
Mm-hmm.
I jumped out there and decided to try something, and it worked in my favor. Because
Mm-hmm.
when people ask me, did I plan on becoming a book author? No, I have 9 books right now. I did my first children's book last year, and so I was actually venting. I started someday my first book, which I think came out in 2014. I started that in college. I was venting about dating. I was a Christian young lady. I was little little innocent thing. And I just could not find young men who were sympathetic or were even willing to date me because of the things that I would not do. And so I put all this down on paper, and after a while, it was quite a few pages where I typed it. It was quite a few pages. And around that time, my friends started publishing books. Latrivia Welch had published a book. Uh, shoot, it's not, I can't think of
LaDonna,
her
at
name.
the same time, LaDonna started.
LaDonna, that's what I was about to say Ladia, but I knew it wasn't Ladia. LaDonna, that's what I was trying to say. And then one other young person, it might have been you. I
I
think
think
maybe
I
you
was
had come
soon
out with
after
your book.
you. Yeah.
And at that point, I went to Latrivia. She had started a publishing company. And I sent her my pages. And I said, if I finish this, would you publish it for me? She read it and said, I would be happy to publish this for you. So you ladies actually motivated me to get my first book published, which it ended up being so long. It ended up being 3 books. It was too
And I read
long
them
to do
all.
for one book, so we chopped it up. And once again, just jumped out there doing something, and it worked out really well. And I realized that I enjoyed doing it and kept doing it. And even with my children's book was for a young lady who was battling cancer, and I wanted to do something to where something special for her, because the character is her. It's been illustrated, and I sent the illustrator pictures of her when she was younger. Unfortunately, she passed, and
Mm.
so this book allows her to live on among us in pages.
Well,
So, and I realized doing that I enjoy writing children's books, and I plan on doing it again. So, you asked calculated. I mean, my business, it ended up being a survival technique. Like I mentioned earlier, the company I was working for, they were about to let me go. And I still had to make money. And I wasn't able to find anything else that was gonna pay me what I wanted to be paid. So I just kept going with it.
well, I totally get it though, that sometimes our choices are forced based on circumstances. And situations, but we still make choices within them, right? Like you made the choice to write the book. And I even remember your Someday series. I can see myself, girl, because I was so busy at the time. I was a single mom. I was working for the Grizzlies at the time, I believe, or FedEx, somewhere wherever I was working. But I remember squeezing in time to read. And I remember I would drop my son off at the youth church for Bible study, for midweek Bible study. We call it TNT. And I would be going. But before I went in, I would read some pages of the book. I can see myself sitting in the car reading the book, trying to get through the book. It was such a good series. So good.
Yeah. And and I got that from a lot of young ladies, that they saw themselves in the main character who was dating and trying to find someone with the character's name was T, and T was trying to find someone with the same standards and morals that she had. And was encountering some obstacles until she did meet the right one. So yeah, it became an inspiration for lots of young 20 somethings that were out there in the dating world but weren't really too happy with the results.
And 30 somethings.
Yeah.
And 40 somethings. But anyway, that's awesome, Jay. So you have shown, though, you know how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. And you are a success woman, no doubt.
Well,
But what
thank you.
is your personal definition of success?
I believe you're successful if you find something you enjoy and find a way to make a living at it. If you are happy with the choices that you have made and you surround yourself, well, I would say, and you are able to help people along the way.
I like
Um, I think that makes you a success. I know we all would love to be super rich, but money isn't the only factor in happiness. I do believe it's a part of it. Because money gives you choices. Yeah, you can just the money will let you know whether you can go have steak or you can have McDonald's that day. That is what money provides. So that my definition for success is very simple. Like I said, find something that you enjoy, that you're good at, find a way to make money at it, and pour into other people along the way. And if you're
it.
able to do that, then you're success.
I love it. I love it. One last question. What is one piece of advice that you would give someone watching this who wants to feel successful, but they run into obstacles, whatever they might be? Just one piece of advice.
Hmm. Count your blessings. Even on your worst day, you were blessed. You got up that morning. You're alive. You have a roof over your head. You have people that love you. If you got a car out in the driveway that you can drive, then that would be my first thing for you to do. And once you realize that no matter what's going on in the world around you, that the things that really matter, they're okay. When my boyfriend, well, I keep fiance, I said boyfriend for so long. But when he has a bad day, that's the first thing I point out is what he still has. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not really that big of a deal. And whatever it is, we'll handle it. And even with the loss of the people that you care about, because after my mother, a few years later, my father was murdered. And last year, well, actually this year, my older sister died on Valentine's Day. But I have to look at what's still here, who's still here, and I can keep moving. So, whatever those obstacles are, if you are alive and able to deal with them in the best way that you can. And if you need help, never be afraid to ask for it. We all need somebody.
Yeah. So Jay, on that note, I just want to thank you. I've witnessed you go through those things, those losses that are tremendous, that I can't relate to. I can relate to you in so many ways, but those are some things I can't relate to, but so many other people can. And so I'm glad to see your strength and your advice and coping, and moving forward and remaining positive and counting your blessings. So I thank you for all the years of friendship. for the inspiration and the motivation that I experienced from you, just from watching you on social media and from the times that we have in person together. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your friendship, and I love you, and I thank you for this time,
Thank
girl.
you. I love you too, and I am so grateful for you, and I am so proud of you.
You
Because
lady.
just as you've been watching me, I've been watching you, and I am extremely proud of you, and proud to call you my friend.
Thank you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more inspiration and tips to become a more resilient and confident leader of others or even just your own life.